And welcome back to Focus on South Texas at Bihl Haus Arts. You're never too old to learn something new. This nonprofit organization offers free art classes for older adults and veterans to express themselves. There's also an exhibition going on now that features printmaking, highlighting diverse voices and innovative techniques. Here to tell us more is Executive Director Nick Gonzales and Curator Kathleen Pittman. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Well, Nick, tell us more about the mission of the Bihl Haus Arts.
Well, the mission of Bihl Haus Arts is creating community through the arts. So we offer classes to senior citizens and veterans locally, and they're free. And not just free, but also the art supplies are free as well.
I love that. So tell us more about some of the classes that are offered to the seniors and veterans. What kind of classes are we talking about?
We're talking like beginning drawing, beginning painting, then we go into the intermediate advanced classes, also watercolor, and sometime in the fall we're going to also offer pottery for the veterans. And there's a few more classes that are coming that are experimental and workshops, but you know, we're still also in the works for that would be like mixed media and other types of art categories.
I love that. So all different kinds of art. And Kathleen, you had curated work from some impressive print masters. So what are some of the highlights from the printmaking from the San Antonio and Beyond exhibition?
There's a lot of them. So we have, you were talking about impressive artists. So we have work by Luis Jimenez, Vincent Valdez, who are both very well known. Luis is a Texas artist, but originally from New Mexico. Vincent, of course, is from San Antonio. And some historical artists. Ron Adams had a print studio, a community, not a community press, I had a community press, a print studio in Santa Fe called Hand Graphics. And he actually printed for a lot of these artists, like he did print for Luis Jimenez. So but we have one of his pieces in there. I actually have some of my work. A number of artists in San Antonio, got artists from New York, California, New Mexico, and a couple from Mexico. And I actually have worked with, in one form or another, with all of the artists. There's 36 artists total, and we have 71 prints of all different kinds. And I've worked with all of them because years ago I did have a community press in San Antonio. So those connections kind of stay with you. Mm-hmm. It's an impressive display, which everybody needs to come and see while it's up.
Yeah, so. I love that. And tell us more about the actual printmaking process for people that, you know, are not familiar with that.
I know, and that's part of the reason for doing this. I myself got into printmaking kind of later in my art career, but then I kind of became hooked on it. Mm-hmm. But to keep it really basic, you're making your image on a surface like a metal plate or a piece of wood that you cut or a stone, mm-hmm. and you transfer that image to either paper or fabric, and you can, in most cases, make an addition. So you have basically a multiple originals.
Got it.
But in most cases, because there are some that are one of ones, like monotype, and it keeps, even though it's very traditional, the oldest form is the relief prints, which are cut normally in wood, mm-hmm. go back to China. They're like 3,000 years old. They've been making this type of print that long. And then some of the newer processes, etchings and things like where you're actually carving in to metal, either physically or with acid. Mm-hmm. The Declaration of Independence actually was made into an etching plate, and I think it was engraved. They made several of them. So, I mean, there's all these historical references, but it's combining, some people combine the different methods, and we actually are producing a catalog, and in the catalog there's kind of a glossary that gives even more information about how the prints are made.
Got it. I love that. And Nick, how do these art programs and events benefit the community, especially the seniors and the veterans?
Well, a lot of time when it comes to the scene, I mean, both have the same kind of benefit in its community, getting to know different people from and also camaraderie. So, but for what the main focus is like to get them out of their shell, to bring their creativity out, and some, with some seniors, they may be feeling isolated or alone. Their families may now be living in town, or their families are always working. Cats in the cradle kind of thing. So they get to be around other seniors who are also experiencing maybe like some like a feeling of isolation, or and then with the veterans, it's to get back into civilian life, and sometimes they don't know when they come out of the military, whether they were in a theater of war or just been like a military, like a veteran that's been working their whole life, just all they know is the military, but they want to branch out and be amongst other veterans as well, as again with the camaraderie, so they can just get back into just civilian life is how they say it,
Right.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And talk to us about some of the other activities that are offered by Bihl Haus.
Well, in the Bihl Haus itself, we do offer some local activities. Like we have a dance class that's just get the seniors to move. We also have an open studio where if you just don't know where you want to begin or start, because you can easily sign up for a beginning drawing or beginning painting, but then with an open studio we offer, they could just go in and talk to one of our seniors who's been taking the classes since the inception of Bihl Haus, and then they just guide them to, hey, maybe you should start, maybe you're a great drawer, you didn't know that, so go with beginning painting because you already know how to draw, and vice versa. And then we also offer our annual on-off-red studio tour, which happens around late February or March, depending on the weather. And then we also have different exhibitions every year where not only do the students interact with their own artwork, but then there's local young talent and artists that are upcoming or have been around for a while to showcase, so it's one big old like party with everybody that gets to know each other.
Kathleen, what do you tell someone that is interested in possibly doing a class at Bihl Haus?
Well, I've actually been there. I've not taught there, but I've been there when classes are in the process of curating this thing. They seem to be like really great, and I'm actually a retired art teacher. That's all I taught, but I taught art. I just know the benefits of doing art, mentally, physically, then also the camaraderie within the class too. You learn from one another. I mean, when I was teaching, I was always tell my students, I said, I'm learning as much from you almost as you are from me, because adjusting, how I teach, making sure they're understanding, all of those things that come with teaching besides being an artist. So anyway.
Love that. Yeah. And Nick, really quickly, for seniors and veterans interested, for people wanting to sign up for the classes, or what do they do? Where do they go?
They can go to our website at www.bihlhausarts.org, or they can contact us directly at 210-339-8982, extension 1. And classes do begin the first week of July.
All right.
So open enrollment has just begun.
Okay, sign up. Nick, Kathleen, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.